1. My fuck-up started about a week ago, but climaxed this morning. It's winter. I'm half Mexican, so when the cold season hits, I think of chili. Delicious, hot, beefy chili that warms you up when the weather outside starts to resemble Antarctica. Sans penguins. I'm not a big fan of pre-made chili, so I always make a massive pot of it and store the leftovers in Tupperware. This time around, I made so much that I was able to fill 2 72-ounce containers. I think that's the number. We'll verify later. Now, usually, my wife will also partake of my chili, but this time around her appetite was wonky, and the idea of chili put her off. Lucky her. So, stuck with an obscene amount of chili, I found myself in a conundrum. Do I eat the chili every day all by myself? Or do I freeze some of it for later, knowing full well I'll never defrost it and eat it? I'm a little squeamish about leftovers sometimes, and cold chili smells incredibly unpleasant. Well, me being me, I decided to marathon the chili. This decision has been my undoing. For the first 5 days, I ate chili at least once a day. On one of those days, I ate it twice. Thursday rolls around and I wake up feeling slightly bloated. Enough to be noticeable and a teensy bit uncomfortable, but nothing concerning. I ate another bowl of chili that day. Come Friday, I wake up feeling even more bloated, but again, it's not too bad. I figure it'll pass by the end of the day. It does not. That day, I ate another bowl of chili. At 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this morning, sharp pains stabbed me awake. I groaned, then hissed. My utterance had moved my diaphragm, pressing it against what I quickly realized was a set of overloaded bowels. Fuck. I rushed to the bathroom, wincing with every movement. As soon as I mounted my porcelain steed and gave my first strain, I realized I was not going to have a pleasant morning. Nothing was coming out. I strained and I strained, but my guts didn't even bother gurgling at me. My stomach was a bloated ball of gas, and has zero interest in relinquishing its dragon horde of juices. The reason I was in this predicament hit me like a ton of bricks. Horror and realization swept through me like a cold tsunami, and I nearly wept at my foolishness. You see, as much as I love chili, I love something else even more. Cheese. And what do I do every single time I eat chili? Why, I cover the top of it with a thick layer of cheese and melt it a bit in the microwave. And what does cheese do? Well, sometimes, under the right conditions, it can cork you tighter than a gay porn star getting DP'd. Day after day, I had been filling myself with bowel-running chili and layers of constipating cheese. I had misunderstood the warning signs. I had lived in denial like someone who refuses to leave their village, even though it sits at the foot of a volcano that has begun to smoke and rumble. I was a fucking idiot. So now here I am, laying in bed, my stomach a storm of agony. I'm on my second serving of Metamucil. Every 20 minutes or so I hobble back to the bathroom and give it another go. It is agony. I sweat, I curse, I'm not crying, but I keep falling into fits of dry-eyed sobbing, during which I lament like a character in a Shakespearean tragedy, punctuated with the rare fart and poop. I strip out all of my clothes and use a footstool to emulate a squatty potty. It works, praise Jesus. I sit and strain and I despair. Sometimes I want to die. Sometimes the pain subsides enough that I can take a moment to marvel at how women can endure childbirth. I think if I had to give birth, I'd ask for my throat to be slit at the first contraction. I'm in awe. Then my stomach roars to life again, and I become a blubbering, straining mess once again. Even as I write this, my ordeal is not yet over. I've been typing this out as a way to distract myself from the pain when I lie down, but I've had to stop and squat at least 3 times in the process. I think I'm building up to yet another soon. pray for me. 2. This, of course, happened a few years ago. Anyways, I had just finished my first semester at university. I went back home for the holidays, but my first stop was at a friend's apartment. We, of course, wanted to get fucked up with alcohol. I had a water bottle full of vodka, minor at the time, and being noobs to drinking, it didn't take a whole lot of vodka for us to get drunk. We got drunk and had fun playing video games, watching YouTube videos, etc. Allow me to describe the layout of the apartment so you can better understand my FU. The apartment had a central living room and kitchen area. On either side of said area are 4 bedrooms, 2 per side. In between each bedroom is a shared restroom. Here's where the FU occurs. When I went to sleep, I had made a pallet in my buddy's room, literally about 4 steps away from the restroom. At some point in the night, I got up and sleepwalked to the restroom and took a massive shit. Then my body decided it was done sleepwalking and went back into rest mode. A few hours go by and I am rudely awoken to the sounds of a woman screaming. Turns out the other roommate had gotten home and his girlfriend needed to use the restroom. I had walked over to the restroom across the apartment to shit. And that is also where my body had re-entered sleep mode. All of a sudden, there's a big guy who I've never seen before, asking me what the fuck I was doing here. It took me a couple of seconds to gather my surroundings. I noticed I was shirtless with my shorts around my ankles, basically naked. I looked at the guy and just said, "Max," my friend's name. Then he said, "Well, can you get the hell out of my bathroom? I want nothing more than to escape from this situation." But I look down and see there's no TP in the bowl. I say to him, can I finish up in here? He agrees and excuses himself. I finish my business and make a quick exit back to my pallet in my friend's room, and left as soon as I sobered up in the morning. Later learned I took such a massive shit that the toilet not only clogged, but didn't work properly for the rest of the time in that apartment. 3. This TIFU actually took place last Tuesday. I was back at the office following a depressingly short holiday vacation. I overslept my alarm, so when I got up, I was in full Tasmanian devil mode. In the process of frantically dressing, I snatched a new pair of panties off the top of my dresser. They had a little paper tag in the back, which I ripped off before yanking them on, throwing on the rest of my clothes and rushing out the door. Fast forward a couple of hours. I'm at work, where I am a first-year attorney at a big-ish law firm. In other words, I'm an absolute peon in terms of office politics. I walk around on eggshells, just trying not to fuck anything up too badly. And I sleep with my volume turned all the way up, so that if a partner emails me at 2 a.m., I can respond quickly. The firm culture is such that we constantly have slightly too many associates. We're all vying for work from the same people. Nobody has to give you work, and if you don't get work, you get fired. Thus, it's important to me that I present myself as someone who is competent, polished, and basically capable of making it through the day without making a complete fool of herself. I show up to the office looking okay, but definitely not done up. I have long hair which, see above, being in a hurry, I am wearing down. Today I am meeting with some of the higher-ups to work through some motions for this huge case we're on. The team is basically me, one other associate, and 4 of the biggest partners at our firm. An hour or so passes. As we trudge along, I become increasingly aware of an uncomfortable itch right above my butt crack. Now, I can't do anything about this for obvious reasons, so it doesn't take long before it progresses from uncomfortable to unbearable. Pretty soon I'm shifting around in my seat, trying to scratch my ass against the office chair, which, as you might imagine, is not super effective. I'm trying something, anything I can think of to scratch this damn itch. But everything I try is just making it worse. I don't realize that I look like an idiot until I catch one of the partners staring at me. At that point, he unceremoniously barks, "Let's take a quick bathroom break," and gives me a conspiratorial nod. I'm embarrassed, but I'm not about to correct him because I can scratch my ass in the bathroom. So I rush out of there and hurry over to the bathroom in our floor. I go into one of the stalls, pull down my pants, figure, what the hell, I might as well pee while I'm in here, and try to figure out what's up. It turns out that while I had removed the paper tag, I had failed to rip out that stupid plastic piece that holds the tag to the fabric. You know the one, it looks kind of like an H, with the plastic on both sides. That thing has been scratching my ass all morning. No wonder. So now I'm in this stall, and I don't have a lot of options in terms of tag removal. I don't have any scissors or anything with me, and there's no way in hell I'm going back with this tag on my panties. So I sit back against the toilet, lean forward and pull the panties towards my mouth to bite off the tag. It takes a minute, but I finally get it. Success! Yay! No more tag in my panties, and I didn't even chip a tooth. I get up to flush and pull my pants up, and that's when I notice it. The hair on the front right side of my head is wet. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know how I didn't realize it, but while I was trying to maneuver that stupid plastic thing into my mouth, I must have dipped my fucking hair in the toilet. The one full of pee. I rush out of the stall. Thankfully, no one else was in the bathroom, but now I'm bent over the sink, just frantically washing my hair in the bathroom sink, with the hands-free soap dispenser. After a couple of minutes, I finish and look up, and that's when I remember I have to get back into the meeting. I have to walk back into a meeting in a room full of people I work for, with my hair dripping wet, and zero explanation. For some reason, I decide it won't be as bad if both sides are wet. So I haphazardly soak the other half of my hair. I have no hair ties or bobby pins, both things that I normally would have brought, except that today I was in too much of a hurry. Eventually I ran out of ideas, so I just squeeze my hair out as best I can and walk back into the conference room. Several people look at my hair, but nobody asks about it. I offer no explanation. Nobody says a damn thing until we get up to leave. I gather all of my papers and notes and promise everyone that I'll get this done as soon as I possibly can. I'm ducking out of the room, and I hear one of the partners saying to another, "I must be going crazy because I thought her hair was dry when we sat down in here." 4. The year was 1998. I was a naive 19-year-old girl and, like my friends, wanted to lose my baby fat without any effort. I asked a friend's sister what her secret was when I saw her eat whatever she wanted and not gain an ounce on her perfect body. Her answer: laxatives. Take some with your meal and poof, an hour later, you're rid of that greasy meal guilt-free. I thought it was a pretty good idea, and I liked how easy it sounded. The next day, I went to the pharmacy and covertly shoved a box in my shopping basket, under less embarrassing items. A lot embarrassed me back then. I picked up some McDonald's on the way out and went home to try out my new routine. I chowed down my burger and washed my laxatives down with some ice-cold Coke with glee. Some minor discomfort creeped up a little while later, but I thought a bit of cramping was a small price to pay for a trimmer waistline. I expelled Rotten Ronnies without much fuss, and was pretty impressed with myself. It worked. I thought I was so smart. Fast forward a few days, I ate a big lunch and paired it with laxatives. I took my trip to the bathroom, evacuated the evidence, and congratulated myself in the mirror at how good I looked. I felt so good that I put on a pair of jean shorts that hadn't fit me since grade 11, and called up my friend Andrea to shoot the shit. She told me she and her boyfriend Eric were about to start a movie they'd rented and asked if I wanted to join them. I lived just out of town with my parents at the time and told them where I was going just as I ran out the door, car keys in hand. When I arrived across town at Andrea and Eric's small basement apartment, they were melting extra butter for the microwave popcorn. It smelled so good. I couldn't stop shoving handfuls of it in my mouth. The extra butter made me moan slightly. It was so damn tasty. We settled down to watch the movie. Not more than half an hour into it, I suddenly felt like a red-hot poker was being shoved into my gut. Instant panic ran through me as I thought about what I knew was going to happen next. Damn it. I thought I was safe to go about my day after I had already rid myself of my lunchtime poo explosion. Then I thought about the ton of extra butter I just inhaled. Fuck. I just created a buttery, lubricated, internal slip and slide that was about to burst right out of my ass. I squirmed in my seat. I hardly knew Eric, and I sure as hell didn't want to fill their tiny apartment with my fetid odor. I started sweating anxiously with the urgent need to go. I had two choices. 1. Use Andrea and Eric's toilet and detonate the worst-smelling and sounding shit bombs, pins and needles setting in my feet from sitting on the john too long, while they sat just outside waiting and smelling and hearing everything through the thin walls, or drive home and hope I make it in time. I'd be alone in the comfort of my parents' home, where I could make all the loud noises without worry of who'd hear. And the smell could peel the wallpaper for all I cared. That did it. I'd made my decision. I was going to try to make it home. I told Andrea and Eric I wasn't feeling well. My profuse sweating and green pallor was visual proof enough. "Are you sure you can make it home okay?" asked Eric. "I'll be fine, I just need to go home." "No," I exclaimed. I clenched my butt cheeks together to keep any foretelling wafts from escaping as I stood up to leave. "I'll drive you home in your car and have Eric follow in ours," Andrea suggested. "What? No!" "It's okay, I can make it home. I'll call you when I get there." It was almost painful now. "We insist." Andrea crossed her arms over her chest, closing the discussion. By then nausea was fighting with the diarrhea to see which could be the one to escape first. Hastily I said, "Let's go." On the way home we hit every pothole and red light in town. Andrea was trying to make small talk, but I could think of nothing else but shit. What it would feel like bursting out of my shorts and onto my cloth seats. The smell of it in the close proximity of a small car on a hot summer day. What would Andrea think of me then? Then I entered the eye of the storm. Everything seemed to settle down, and I thought, yes! I'm going to make it home, and nobody has to be any the wiser. Things were looking up. Suddenly my gut churned, and I knew this was it. Not even a mile from home on a sunny day, and the pressure hit me like a ton of bricks. I needed to go, now. "Andrea, pull over," I squeaked. "Here? We're almost..." "Here!" I screamed. We stopped on the shoulder of a busy highway, a small ditch leading to a row of houses, separated by a well-traveled walking path in front of me, and a car dealership across the road. No sooner had we stopped than I crashed out the door and took 5 steps down the embankment. I unfastened the dome of my now skin-tight jean shorts, slithered them down my sweaty, trembling thighs, and proceeded to erupt the foulest runny shit parade that ditch had ever seen. It splashed over my ankles and flip-flops and ran down the grassy knoll in rivulets. I closed my eyes in instant, noxious relief, and forgot where I was for a second, until I heard a voice calling from above. "What's going on? Are you okay?" Oh my God, Eric. My current predicament came rushing back to me in a microsecond. I opened my eyes to see everything going on around me. A couple walking their dog on the path in front of me, eyes glued to mine. To the left, a man barbecuing on his back deck, probably burning his meat after being distracted by the spectacle that was me. I was mooning my friend, and now her boyfriend too, as well as the many cars going back and forth on the highway. Watching the show and honking as they passed. I wanted to die. "I'm fine, get back in your car," I yelled, defeated and beet red. I realized that now I had another problem. No toilet paper. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Avoiding eye contact with the spectators, I spied a flyer amongst ditch debris. If I crab walked, I could just reach it. Keeping one hand on my shorts, I wriggled free the flyer and wiped my now chapped ass. Fast as I could, I yanked up my pants, ran back up to the passenger seat of my car, Andrea with the good sense to keep her gaze averted. Not one word was spoken for the rest of the ride, until an awkward goodbye was said, and she handed me my keys and rejoined Eric. It was a few days until I mustered up the courage to talk to her again, and I couldn't retain eye contact with Eric after. We never spoke about it. It was a lesson learned, my brush with bulimia. It was an unhealthy way to lose weight that I never tried again. I also learned to keep toilet paper in my car at all times, cause you never know. 5. Okay, so this story happened about 3 years ago when I was 12. It was the day after Christmas, and my aunt was visiting from New Jersey. My brother and his wife were also visiting from Texas, so it was a big deal. Now, one night all of them were in the living room, and my mom was in her room. I found my aunt's keychain on the table in the kitchen, and I saw what I thought to be some type of perfume. Also, I was in my boxers at the time, but I was trying to spray the perfume. When I figured out how to spray it, it was pointing the wrong way, and hit right in the middle of my boxers. I was like, oh, that's how you spray it. Then 5 seconds later, my dick starts feeling like it's on fire. And I tell my mom and rush to the bathroom. My mom brings me some milk, and I rest my penis in it. It felt good. But then it felt like somebody was holding a blowtorch on it. I mean, it felt so bad, it was the worst pain I ever and still have felt in my life. So about 30 minutes of absolute pain later, it stopped, and I was so relieved I went into my mom's room, who then told me that the thing on the keychain was pepper spray that my aunt had. Hey everyone, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to 5 True Embarrassing Stories, episode 27. Has anyone else got the urge for chili and cheese? No? Just me? Okay. Although, personally, I'd just make a whole bunch of it and freeze it, because, well, I do live alone. It's not really practical to make huge meals and expect them to get eaten all at once, but I do like making food from scratch. Or sometimes mostly from scratch. But a lot of it might go to waste if I had to let it sit in the fridge for a few days, or it might not be as good. So I usually just, I'll get 1 or 2 tubs of something, and that means the next time I want that particular meal, I just need to heat it in the microwave, and it's generally quite good afterwards. Okay, before I go, I would of course like to say thank you very much to everyone who allowed me to use their stories in this video. And with that, I'm going to head off for now because I've got a few more videos to make tonight. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.